Today I'm going to be talking about how you can make money doing what you love by starting your own business and my personal journey through that. In this two-part series, I'm going to be giving you an insight on what it's like to start a business and become freelance. In this first part, I'll be walking you through exactly why you want to become freelance or start your own business in the first place, and the benefits, and also how it all happened for me. My name's Lucian. I am a web designer and developer. I've been running my business for like 1.5 years now, nearly 2 years probably. I started my business when I was 23 and I've been going since then. I'm only 25, so today I'm going to be talking about how you can start a business from a young age, what that's like, my journey through that, and some sort of tips and tricks that I learned along the way, which I can share with you, which will hopefully help you realize how you can start a business and realize the possibilities and the benefits of doing so. So it's going to be pretty cool. I'm in Valencia right now. I tried recording this video the other day and it was way too hot. I had to lock myself in a room with the windows and doors closed, so it's as quiet as possible.
I'm like sweating right now.
But yeah, I was sweating too much and I had to call it a day. So I'm now recording again. It's earlier. Hopefully I won't sweat to death and I can share my knowledge with you today. So to start with, why might you want to start your own business? There's a lot of benefits. For example, the time and location flexibility you get is unrivaled because you can work the hours you want as long as you're getting your work done, and you can also work from wherever you want. Like I mentioned, I'm in Valencia right now just because I want to be, and it's a very nice thing to be able to do that. There's also the idea of financial independence, which is an interesting one, because obviously starting a business doesn't mean you're just going to start making loads of money really quick and just become rich really quick. It's a lot of work you have to put in, but the ceiling's a lot higher than if you're working for a company, in my opinion. Compared to being employed, you know, you're depending on your boss telling you like, yeah, you're ready for a promotion, you can have a pay rise, whereas starting a business, you're kind of sky's the limit with what you can do as long as you put the work in and you're smart about what you're doing. So you can get to the point where you're earning more, you can maybe figure out ways that you can make some passive income maybe, and all of a sudden you're making more money and you're having more of that time freedom because you've got some passive income and you can grow the business even more. There's more opportunities to scale if you wanted to like start employing people and actually having an agency, or maybe some of us just want to like grow a business. Maybe we can outsource some work and then you can scale more by outsourcing to like some other freelancers or other businesses that you meet along the way. There's also like the continuous cycle of development. You're always able to just learn a new thing. If you want to learn a new technology or a new style or anything like that, you're not depending on what your company does to decide what you're going to work on, what areas you're going to work on. You get to just learn the things that you want to learn, and it also means that your skills are going to be kept up with the times, because when you start your own business and you work for yourself, you always have the opportunity to learn about all these cool new things happening around us, like AI, for example. You know, you can learn more about that, see how you can implement that with your work. You're always going to be at the front of that curve of learning as long as you keep yourself learning, because you get to move a lot quicker than a company does when you decide what to learn next. You know, they've got to figure out, is this worth it? You know, all this kind of stuff. So I think that flexibility of learning whatever you want is amazing, and you've got endless things to learn about, whether it's to do with your particular skill set, the exact industry that your business is in, or just business itself. Like, you learn so much about running a business, marketing, planning, finances, budget. It's a lot, but I think if you're the type of person who likes to learn, it's beautiful because it just means you get to learn constantly. So it's nice. We spend a lot of time on Google. Day to day as well, the autonomy you get is amazing. This morning I got to go to the beach and had a nice swim during the sunrise. It's beautiful because I can start when I want, which links to the time flexibility, but also just your autonomy through the day. Like, if I want to stop for an hour or two and go do something, I can. I haven't got anyone breathing down my neck saying like, you can't go and do this right now. Also, I can like work on what I want to work on throughout the day. Obviously client depending, like you do need to do the work for clients that you have at the moment, but it's a lot more flexible what you work on and when. But I'd say the biggest thing, which has been the greatest sort of prize for me in terms of working for myself, has just been the whole career autonomy. I know that I'm doing web design and develop right now, but I'm also just started recently doing app development. I don't have to wait to go to like the mobile app department or whatever in my business. I could just choose to start doing that whenever I like, which is so cool. And you know, in the future, I want to go into engineering. I studied engineering when I was at university. If I want to, I can go into engineering one day. So the career autonomy of choosing like what projects you want to work on is amazing, and it's really free, great feeling to be able to just do what you want whenever you want. However, with anything in life, there's pros and cons to things. Some things work better for others, some things aren't for everyone. I'm going to make a bigger video about that at some point, the pros and cons of freelancing, whether it's right for you. I think for most people, to be honest, it is right for them. I think there's a lot of reasons that people can find as to why it's not right for them, but I think the pros massively outweigh the cons in most cases. So how do you even get into starting your own business? I'd say that's the most intimidating thing, that when you hear it's like, well, how do I start my own business? So I can just share my experience. So I started studying mechanical engineering. I did a master's, so I was at uni for 4 years doing mechanical engineering. It's not what I do now, but during that time at uni, I always knew that I wanted to start a business. What that business was going to be in, I had no clue. And the closer and closer I got to that end year of uni, I was like, well, I've been telling everyone I'm going to start a business when I leave uni, but I don't really know what that is, because I always knew from the start, whatever it was going to be, I was going to start a business when I left uni. I wasn't going to go into a job. I used to tell myself like, oh, maybe I'll get like 10 years of experience in industry and then I'll open my own business. I'm not opening a cake shop, but you know what I mean. At some point I realized me saying I'm going to do that in 10 years is that's just like pushing a dream on. I think industry experience is a great reason to go into a job first and then start a business, but I also think you're playing with fire a bit, because when you start working for someone, you're going to be getting benefits, you're going to get a comfortable salary, things will be nice, you grow to love the company, and that's not a bad thing. If you love that, that's great. But if you did really deep down want to start a business and it gets to like 10 years later and you're earning a good salary, you have a lot of benefits, you know everyone at work, you're really settled, you might have kids, you might have a house by that point, you might have more outgoings. Is that really going to be the time that you start a business? I think you're going to have a lot more hurdles, which is why I see the benefits of starting when you're younger, to be honest. But you know, as soon as you can start, why not? It's hard because you have to learn a lot more. You don't have as much experience behind your belt. There's less belief in you in terms of what you can do, but I think going for it straight away has a lot of benefits. So what happened to me is I left uni. Luckily, during my master's, I was actually doing an internship for a software development company. So after I finished uni, I carried on working for this internship. I was still doing software development for about 6 months with them until, unfortunately, they couldn't afford to keep me on. They were quite a small company and things weren't going too well, so they had to basically let me go with not loads of notice. And it was at that point, I remember I had a call with my boss and I was like, right, well, I've got until Wednesday, and this was like maybe a week before I'd have my last ever day working for them. What am I going to do? So I finished that call and I was like really thinking. So I wrote down all my options, which spanned from starting my own business to trying to stay on with them, trying to figure out some sort of arrangement, looking for another job, which they would give me a good recommendation for, learning to do like TEFL courses, which is like a teaching course you can do in foreign countries. I had a lot of ideas. I just sat down and wrote them all out and kind of evaluated my options. And I think I must have like sat on it for maybe a day. It got to a point where I was like, I think this is my sign to start my business. I've been saying I've wanted to do it forever. I was lucky enough to carry on a job that I started during my master's and got to do it for an extra 6 months. So arguably I was getting kind of comfortable, and I was thinking the same thing, like, oh, I'm gaining experience and this and that. But I was like, this is the time to do it. And it was more out of necessity, to be honest, because I could have looked for another job, but it's not really what I wanted to do. I didn't like the thought of going through another application process to get a job and all this kind of stuff. So I was like, now's the time to start my business. And it wasn't easy at first, for sure. I mean, I remember starting and I still had so much to learn. My internship was all development, so I had a lot of missing gaps because I wanted to provide a full service. I wanted to be someone that clients could come to, and then, you know, everything could be done for them. I can make them a full website. I only learned the back end for people who know techie stuff. During my internship, I didn't do much front end, so I was like, I've got a lot to learn, and I also had to learn to design. Bear in mind, I came from a mechanical engineering background. Like, we don't do a lot of creative design work, so I spent a lot of like the first few months learning a lot of stuff. And obviously, when you're learning, you're not getting paid because no one's paying you to do an online course or learn to design. So I got a job delivering groceries on a push bike, so I would do that in the evenings, and then normally during the day I would be doing my online courses, and I'd also started building my own website. And this is something I'd love to get into another video in terms of I was learning what I was doing while doing a personal project for myself, but a personal project that mattered, not just building something because it looked good or it was cool or whatever. I had a lot of meaning in terms of what I was building, so I was building my own website while I was learning to design. And bear in mind, the design was shit. Like, I was really bad. Now when I look back on it, it was awful, but I was learning, and my site went through a lot of iterations through that. It got to a point where I was learning and I got my first ever client. Actually, it was a really weird one. So my first client wasn't anything to do with web development, but because I knew how to code, I managed to get on a job helping an NFT project. Basically, they were generating an art collection. My sister was the illustrator for that art collection. So my job as the developer was to basically make a little program which pieced together all the different layers to generate this art collection of, like, I think it was like 8,000 different NFT art pieces or something like that. So it's not what I expected to get into, but that was my first ever client. I got $1,000 for that job, split into 2 payments, spread over a very long time. So it wasn't loads of money, but it was very nice to get for my first job. While I was learning and doing that NFT project, I also created an account on Upwork, and I'm also going to make a big video, if not a series, about Upwork, because there's a lot to get into and a lot of important points, because I think there's mixed reviews from me personally on Upwork, like whether it's good, whether it's bad. I think on the whole it's good. It was great for me to start. I learned how to build a proposal, how to make something like appetizing for someone, learning to give an offer and see how appealing that is to people. And eventually I got my first ever client. Again, shit money. It was like $18.75 an hour. And then after that, Upwork took 20%, I think. And then I also had to convert that to pounds. So I was getting like £10 an hour, which isn't awful. I was getting £11 an hour riding a push bike delivering groceries, but I was very happy to be earning that amount of money doing web development, although I knew there was scope to be earning a lot more. It was a great place to start. I learned how to build rapport with the customer. I learned how to take their ideas and build that into a design, and then build that and check they liked it and make sure everything was all stable on their website. So that was a big learning experience and a massive one. And from then, things just kind of started ticking over. I think that first client, those first couple jobs are the hard ones, because you're really figuring out, how do I do this? How do I get customers? Like, how do I come across that I know what I'm doing despite not having any backing behind me? Because I've got, minimal industry experience, like non-existent portfolio. All they've really got is my word and the fact that I can get on a video call with them and have a chat, and hopefully that they like me and we get on, and therefore they give me a job. So that's kind of how it went from the start. And then as things progressed, I started getting more clients through Upwork, through referrals, and also through LinkedIn. And since then, I decided to learn more about business development, how to market yourself, how you position yourself, who you're marketing to, which again, these are all huge topics in themselves that there's plenty of resources you can read or watch online. I'm also going to give my view on it as someone who's doing this from a fresh perspective at the age of 25. And there's so much to learn, and it's really exciting. But that's basically how my journey's gone so far, and things have gone, progressed a lot more since then. I've been able to charge more for projects. I've been able to get more regular work, but I still have so much to figure out. I'm still getting periods of time where I don't have clients for a whole month, and you have to figure out how to deal with this up and down nature. For the start though, I'm so confident that it's not like the classic feast or famine nature that everyone tells you it's going to be. If you think about it and figure out a smart strategy for your business, how you're going to get clients in and what you're going to offer, it's 100% possible to have a great salary and a smooth salary and a limitless salary, because businesses will grow and grow and grow. So yeah, that's basically where I'm at so far. So that was the journey I went through, starting my own business and a bunch of the lovely benefits you get from running your own business. It's an up and down path for sure, with a lot of learning along the way, but I think anyone would attest that building something for yourself is an extremely rewarding thing to do, which is why I'm such an advocate of people starting their own businesses. In the next video, I'm going to be walking through my tips for success, as well as the common challenges you're going to face and how you can have a healthy perspective with those challenges, which is going to dictate whether your business succeeds or not, or whether you can push through them. Thanks very much for watching. I'd love it if you could like the video and drop a comment, maybe saying, the things that might be holding you back from starting your own business, or if you already have a business, what have been the best perks for you. Subscribe for more. There's part 2 coming very soon, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, I'll see you soon for part 2. I'll see you soon.